Sarah and I set the practice up about 10 years ago. I'm from a design background, Sarah's from a property background. I'm passionate about design, always have been since I was a child. Did a paper round as a kid to buy the Architect's Journal when I was really young. Clients come to us with a range of problems they need solving, and I want an extension out the back of the house, I want a new kitchen. And I'll ask why. Why do you need that? Why are you looking for that? And I'll ask them more about their lifestyle, how they live. That then forms a really good basis for our design.
We really pride ourselves in doing the very best we can in all of the services that we offer. In fact, anything that we're not a specialist in at all, we'll find a third party who is. That's why, in fact, we're called Atelier Associates, because we like to work in conjunction with other people that can help us to deliver the best solution for our clients. The old school at North Creek has been a project that we've all enjoyed working on. We became very passionate about ensuring that the exterior of the school was minimally disrupted and still very much looked like a school, keeping its integrity, whilst making the facilities inside suit individual buyers. Each one of the 3 units has its own identity and personality, yet on the outside it still looks like you're driving up to a school.
The main constraints were the windows, and you guys designed each room really well around that. It flows really well, and it did evolve, but that happens with conversions like this. It's a real sympathetic conversion. You guys have worked with us well and collaborated.
Rosewood House at Thornham, again, the lovely clients as people, like most Atelier clients are. From the roadside, it's quite narrow, but the actual site widened out towards the back, and it was able to get 2 units of accommodation on there. At the initial sketch design stage, we looked at whether the front house would be for our clients or the rear house. The orientation at the back was pretty good. It was slightly wider, but the client equally wanted to achieve a good return on the front property, so that equally had to be a cracking plot as well.
Stephen will tell everyone that I'm really fickle and every property I look at is my new favourite, and in fact that's the case. But I was quite blown away when I first went to Lahat. It is a beautiful property where we've really achieved inside-outside flow with a view over the beach and the dunes in Old Hunstanton. Lahat really is a house to be admired.
We were introduced to Atelier through some friends of ours. We met Steve here on site, and Steve outlined some of the things that we could do. We didn't want just something that was bog standard. We've got an amazing location, and we needed ideas that we could bounce off of and that we then were able to feed into. Working with Atelier has always been a pleasure. We felt that Atelier were on our side, and every idea that we had, either it was impractical or practical, whether it was our idea or their idea, it fed into a wider creative system that really worked for us.
One of our strengths is working in the stuff that's perhaps a bit tricky. In fact, I think people have told us that if they've got a problematic site or scheme or something which they know is going to be complex, they'll come and consult us about it. With our planning, we in fact have a particularly brilliant success rate.
It's our lives really, this business, and design in general is our lives. And it's not just me, you know, we've got Sarah, we've got Joe, we've got Ben, we've got Kai in the office, and I think they all feel the same. We all have different strengths, without doubt. I always liken architecture to a piece of sculpture. A project starts off as a lump of stone, and then gradually, as you develop ideas with clients, the stone gets hacked around a little bit, and eventually at the end of the design process you end up with this beautiful form like a piece of sculpture. So we always ask ourselves this question, you know, what if we did this? We never really settle. We're always self-critical. We don't kind of leave any stone unturned. And sometimes you have to explore all of the options, even just sketch format options, to make sure that is the right kind of option, and that constant exploring of ideas is so important, I think.
There was a point during the design period when we realised that actually if we had been building this from scratch, we would have put the utility area into there, because we wanted to have something there that made it that much better for us to inhabit more of the time. That question came from Atelier, and it has become very, very much a home rather than just a second property.
The most rewarding part of the project is normally a year or 2 after the project's finished, and you might bump into the client again if you're out for dinner or something and you bump into them. They introduce you to their friends, and it's quite emotional, to be fair. They sort of introduce you and say, you know, this is Steve from Atelier who designed our wonderful house. They say, it's actually changed my life. You know, what you've produced makes me feel like I'm on holiday all the time, which is absolutely amazing. And I do often say to clients, you know, you've worked really hard your entire life. You deserve this lifestyle. You know, you deserve. Don't put yourself second. You know, you deserve this property. You deserve this space. Yeah.
It's a heck of a decision, isn't it, deciding who you're going to use as your designer. I think it's much more about people than it is about buildings. And I think that the first thing I would urge anyone to do is to have a chat with us, come in and see us. Our office is always open for people to come in and meet the team. And there's no obligation, we'll just have a chat for starters. And then if we think we're a good fit for each other, then we can take it further.